Hey CrossFit Hardware, it's Melissa with your moves of the week, and today we are going to look at some twisting side to side just to help give something really yummy to your lower back. Continuing with that idea of releasing the lower back, we're also going to look at the hamstring and the back of the leg, and then we're going to put it together, kind of a little bit of a twist for your thoracic spine with a little bit more lengthening for the posterior of your legs. Okay, so let's get started. I hope you're doing well. We're gonna start in a seated position for a seated twist. You can come to a simple cross-leg position on the floor. If that's not really comfortable for you, if you feel like you're falling backwards or really rounding through your spine, I highly recommend grabbing a book. So just grab a big book. You could also grab, if you have a meditation cushion or a firm cushion or a yoga block, you could do that as well. And then come to that seated position. It's just gonna really help release your hips a little bit more, and it's going to make your spine feel taller. So either seated or on a book or seated on the floor is a great starting place. Hands can be on your knees, in your lap, or at your heart, like we've been talking about for the past few weeks, a symbol of gratitude and compassion, or just a simple reminder for you to kind of lengthen through your thoracic spine and lift your heart towards your thumbs. Once you're there, roll your shoulders up, down, and back, and just take a moment maybe to reflect upon your week. Take a moment maybe to simply become aware of how you feel physically or mentally. Maybe take a moment to observe how you're breathing. Notice where the inhale is being received within your body, where the exhale is being received within your body. And the past few weeks, I've been telling you to just do what feels good in regard to your breath. Just be really aware. Maybe you can slow down the breath or deepen the breath. This week, if you want a little bit more guidance with your breath work, I recommend doing a counting breath. So maybe begin to settle in your comfortable seated position. Begin to become aware of your breath. Slow down and deepen the breath. Try to really draw it into the belly so you feel the navel expand as you inhale and gently fall back in as you exhale. And then once that is comfortable and you feel kind of firmly rooted in that basic observance of your breath and that basic deepening of the breath, add a simple count to your inhale and exhale. So maybe begin with a count of 4 or 6. Inhaling and internally count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhale and internally count down from 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And begin again. So you may find that helps you deepen your breath or elongate your breath a little more easily. You may find that simple act of internally counting as you breathe in and out really helps soften the edges of your mind, helps you become a little bit more present and a little bit more at ease. So give that a try. After you've done a little bit of breath work, maybe taking 2 to 5 minutes to work on your breath, we're going to move into a seated twist. So if you haven't, take your hands to your heart, lift your heart to your thumbs, inhale, lower your fingertips, circle and lift your arms up. You can follow your hands with your eyes. Exhale, pull your hands back in and down. Do that one more time. Inhale, lower, circle and lift up. And then exhale, pull your hands back to your heart. Moving into your twist, lower, circle and lift up. Shoulders release, fingertips lengthen. As you exhale, revolve your spine over to one side. In this instance, I have my left hand resting on my right thigh. I'm directing my eyes over toward my right shoulder, and I'm sitting up as tall as I can. You can't see my right hand, but it is gently reaching toward the floor behind me. I'm not laying back on my hand. I'm still trying to sit up as tall as I can, and I'm gonna maybe return to that counting breath or that observance of my breath. And I would recommend taking anywhere from 4 to 8 breaths in the twist that you've settled into. Think about lengthening your spine as you inhale and gently softening your spine as you exhale. It might not change your outward physical appearance, but really imagine, put that mental intention there that every time you exhale, you slightly deepen the twist just a little more. You're then going to inhale and lift up, shoulders release, fingertips rise. Exhale, revolve and take your twist to the other side. Here I have my right hand gently resting on my left thigh. my eyes turning toward my left shoulder. And again, I'm sitting up nice and tall, nice length through the whole spinal column as I inhale and exhale. 6 to 8 breaths there. When you're done your twist, don't simply snap out of it. Bring it back up through center. And as you exhale, just maybe give your wrists a little TLC from any push-ups you've done this week. And we'll move into our next pose for this week. Here we go. So we are going to look at another seated position. This is a seated forward fold, single leg forward bend. So you can be seated again on that book or on the floor, but again, find that position with your spine where you feel really lengthened and tall. If you are a less mobile body, I recommend using a prop here, meaning maybe get a towel and roll it up. You could use certainly a yoga strap, a belt, or a scarf as well, something that you could use to assist you in this position. You can simply rest that across your lap, and then we're going to take one of the legs. In this instance, I'm bending my left leg, and I'm going to allow the sole of my left foot to rest along the inner line of my right leg. I'm going to sit up nice and tall as I inhale. I'm going to take that prop around the sole of my foot, creating a little tension with the towel strap. A band from the gym will also work here. And then as I exhale, I'm going to fold forward into this pose. So I'm going to change the angle of my body just so you can see me a little bit better. Ideally, I'd like you to hold that seated leg forward bend for approximately 2 minutes. When you are in that seated single leg forward bend, I want you to think about what's going on with your spine. And we talked about this a few weeks ago with another pose. The goal of this forward bend is not necessarily to get your nose to touch your knee, okay? The goal is to lengthen through the back of the leg. Maybe you feel a stretch in the back of the thigh, your hamstring group, maybe in the calf muscles. Maybe you feel some lengthening and release in the lower back, maybe all 3 of those places. What I want you to think about as you're holding here, whether you're using a prop or if you're a more mobile body, maybe you're not using a prop, is what's the best position for your spine? So how can you figure that out? Well, one, if it feels good, do that. I'm all for doing something that feels really good for your body. But 2, think about where you are in your fold, okay? So if you're in that fold, again, whether it's with a prop or just hands resting on your shin, on your thigh, or on the floor, notice where your nose and chin are in relationship to your leg. If your nose and chin are a little bit more over your thigh, I recommend trying to stay pretty tall through your upper spine, meaning don't try to ratchet your head down toward your thigh, okay? Be nice to your upper body, be nice to your lower back, and don't force that compression through the spine. If you're a more mobile body, you may find when you come into this position that your chin or your nose are over your knee, maybe over your shin. At that point, maybe invite some rounding into your upper back, allowing your face, your chin, your nose to be closer to your leg. So just some tips there. But again, if you find a position that feels really good, roll with it and hold that. Again, we're gonna go for 2 to 4 minutes. I honestly just flaked on what I said. So 2 minutes, I believe, is what I said to start, but you could hold up to 4 minutes if that feels really great and you have the time. You'll switch legs when you're done. So again, bring one leg in, sole of the foot, resting along the inner line of the opposite leg. And then again, using your prop, wrap that around your foot, really lengthen the spine first, and then come forward in the pose. If you're not using a prop, simply bring your arms up as you inhale. And again, think about reaching over something here, really creating length in the spine as you fold forward. I always imagine there's like a beach ball on my thigh, and I'm trying to reach over it as I come into that fold, and then make that position for your spine, whether it's nice and tall and or whether you invite that rounding into your upper spine. You can then remove the book, but keep it close. You're gonna need it for our next pose. We're gonna move up to a standing position, and you're gonna stand tall with your feet underneath your hips. You're then gonna roll down, so allow the chin to hit the chest, shoulders round, and just slowly invite a bend into your body. Your knees can be as bent as they need to be here. So if you are a more mobile person, you might not have a very big knee bend here. You might be able to easily touch the ground. If you're a less mobile body, you might need to bend your knees more here, and that is totally fine. In this position, if you can easily touch the floor, you're probably not going to need a book. But if you cannot, grab that book and place it a few inches in front of your big toes. And remember, books, just like yoga blocks, can be used flat. You can create a little more height by turning it on its spine, or you can always create a little more height, open it up a little bit for stability, and create it taller. So if you are a taller person, if you have tighter hamstrings, adjust the height of the book so that it really works for you. Of course, if you have a yoga block or a medicine ball, you can also use that at home. I'm going to demonstrate with the book flat just for our purposes today. I've rolled down. I'm in that double leg forward bend, just nice release of the spine. I'm going to take one hand, I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to place it flat on the block. I'm going to take my left hand and put it in my left hip crease. From here, my knees are still bent. I'm going to press into the book or the block or the ball, and I'm going to try to straighten my legs as much as possible. Maybe you're straightened like mine, maybe they don't, sending the hip points back and getting lots of length down the posterior of both legs. From here, I'm going to inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to bend the knee on the same side as the hand that I have on the floor or the book or the block. So in this instance, it's going to be my right knee. I inhale, I bend the right knee. I exhale, I turn my heart to the left and lift my left arm high, looking up at my left hand, looking forward, or looking down at the floor. While I'm holding here, I'm going to continue to try to straighten my left leg as much as I can. Maybe you straighten it, maybe it stays slightly bent, but I'm going to hold there, getting a nice twist through my upper spine and my cervical spine and my neck if I'm looking up. Maybe I'm just looking down if that's more comfortable, while also getting that nice length through the back of the leg. After you hold here, I recommend holding for 2 minutes. Exhale, release, pedal your legs, nod your head, just shake it all out, and then switch sides. So again, that's going to be starting with one hand on the book or the block. In this instance, my left hand, right hand, hip crease. Press into the book or the floor, look at your left hand, straighten the legs as you inhale. Exhale, bend your left knee, try to straighten the right leg as much as possible, and lift your hand high, looking up, looking forward, or looking down. And a nice hold there. So I hope those moves feel good for you after your week. I hope you're enjoying these sessions as well. If you are interested in doing a Sunday Zoom yoga class, please leave a comment below as well. It is something I've been talking to Coach Adrienne about, but just not sure there's interest. And if you can't, that's totally okay too. All right, so have a great week, everyone. I hope you're feeling good. And as always, I'm sending you all my best.